All right, audience one. Number two.
My name is Jill Achenberg, and today is June 26, 2017, and this is my informative speech. Imagine yourself relaxing on a beach with an ice-cold drink in your hand, with a good book, with the sound of the waves in the background, with the feel of the breeze on your face. Or, if you're more of a mountain person, imagine yourself in the middle of the quiet woods in a little log cabin, with the crackling of the fire in the background as you sit on the back deck looking out into the beautiful scenery. Whether it's the beaches or the mountains or anything in between, the South Carolina state parks offer all of that and more, making it the perfect escape for your own type of rest and relaxation. I've had a lot of experience with South Carolina state parks because I have been fortunate enough to grow up on 2 state parks. I grew up on Edisto Beach State Park for 7 years, then I grew up on Oconee State Park for 5 more years, where my dad served as the manager on both parks, and he now serves as the regional chief for the mountain region. So with being on the parks for 12 years, I've gotten to experience firsthand the positive impact that parks can have on the community. Most people during a lifetime have definitely had some type of experience with the state parks, hopefully a positive experience, because it's a great way to get outside in nature and enjoy time with friends and family. So today I'd like to inform you of 3 important points around the South Carolina state park system: a brief overview of the state parks in South Carolina and everything that it has to offer, the history behind why we have state parks today, as well as how the state parks have impacted the community in different ways. By learning more about the parks and its importance, hopefully you will walk out of here with more appreciation for the park system and maybe even wanting to go visit one yourself. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the South Carolina state parks in general and some of the popular state parks in the area. According to my visual, there are 4 regions in South Carolina of the state parks. The first region is the mountain region in the upper corner, and then you have the lakes region, the sandhills region, and then the coastal regions. There are 47 total state parks in South Carolina. Most of the state parks have some type of accommodations, whether it's cabins, campgrounds. Most of them have lakes, or if it's on the coastal side, it has the beach. They have different types of swimming areas, and a lot of the state parks, like Oconee State Park, which is up here in the very top of the corner, a lot of the state parks, like Oconee, try to incorporate their heritage for the state park. So Oconee State Park has square dancing once a week to incorporate their mountain heritage. And going along with the different state parks all over South Carolina, the South Carolina State Park System has a mission statement. According to the official guide of South Carolina State Parks, in part their mission is to encourage people to discover South Carolina state parks by providing resource-based, recreational and educational opportunities that emphasize the conservation, protection, and interpretation of the state's natural and cultural resources. Going off of that mission statement and what we know about some of the parks now, let's talk about the history about how some of those parks came to be. In 1929 to 1939, the Great Depression hit. According to the history website, the Civilian Conservation Corps, or known as the CCC, was founded in March of 1933, and it was one of the New Deal programs created by Franklin D. Roosevelt as a way to get out of the Great Depression. The CCC was intended to promote environmental conservation as well as build good citizens through hardworking outdoor labor. As a result of the CCC, 16 state parks were created in the 1930s, with Myrtle Beach being the first park to open on July 1st, 1936. During World War II, the parks were also affected as well. Some of the state parks were used as a refuge for World War II. Myrtle Beach State Park, Edisto, and Honey Island were used as forts and lookout posts for the soldiers. And after the war, many improvements were made to the state park facilities due to neglect from the war. During the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s, parks were also involved in segregations between blacks and whites. When the Civil Rights Act was passed in 1964, the state parks didn't segregate until 1966. An interesting story about the house I grew up in Edisto, we lived on a marsh, and the marsh used to be the black beach where they went and stayed on the beach and hung out, and they had the water fountain there, and then the shelter that we used as our shop then. But however, regardless of the history, these parks contain so much more than just that. They also significantly impact the community and its visitors as well. They have a health impact on the community, whether it's mental or physical health. For mental health, it's just good to get outside in the fresh air, enjoying time with friends and family can be really good for your mental health. And the physical health is also really good because it's good to just get outside and play. The park's motto is come out and play, and that's exactly what they try to live by, to play outside in a safe, healthy environment. Another impact the parks have on the community is the economic impact. State parks bring tons of tourism to the area. People have to go out to eat, people have to get gas, people have to go shopping, and so whenever they come to the parks, they go to all local businesses around it as well. Then it also brings a lot of employment opportunities for all the locals as well because it creates more jobs for the locals to work on the state parks. Along with the economic impact, they also have an educational impact. There are multiple learning opportunities at all the parks across the state. According to the South Carolina State Parks website, there are many programs such as the Junior Ranger program, the Scout program, which goes off of the Boy Scouts program, and the Discover Carolina program, which aligns with the South Carolina academic standards. And it's also a great way for students to learn outside of the classroom in a fun environment, and it makes for a great field trip. Now that I've talked about the impact of state parks, I'd like to close by saying how significant state parks are to the community as a whole, as well as the rich history it contains. There are countless opportunities for all 47 parks across the state, from the mountains to the beaches. I encourage you to come out and play to South Carolina State Park to enjoy the great opportunities that await you and your family to enjoy and experience everything they have to offer. Thank you.
And we're still here. It's here.
Yep, still here.
She has to do it before
Not to mention the impact on the rug.